Well, good morning and welcome back to the channel. Today you find me down at a woodland I've never been to before, and it's literally a 20-25 minute drive from my house. I have heard of it, I've just never actively gone looking for it. It's East Blean Woods, and if you're from the area, you kind of go down the Thanet Way, take the Reculver turn off. Instead of turning right to Reculver, you turn left, follow the road down, and about a quarter of a mile down the road there's a right hand turning, and again a quarter of a mile down there is the woodland. The only thing that took me a little bit by surprise was they actually charge for all day parking, which is £2, but there's no pay and display machine. You have to have a mobile phone and download the app. Luckily I already had the app installed and paid the £2, but obviously with the app charges you the extra 20 pence, so it costs you £2.20 for all day parking, which is reasonable I suppose, but for a little local woodland I wasn't expecting any pay charges, to be honest, for the car park. And unsurprisingly I was the only car in the car park. Everybody else had managed to park outside the car park, I think, but yeah, £2.20, it's not earth shattering. So yeah, I'm just now starting to make my way around the woodland. I've never been before, don't really know what's here. I'm just hoping to find one or two images as we go around. As ever, woodland is a very difficult genre, something that I do enjoy, but like everybody else I struggle. But it's one of them, I suppose, that the more you do it, the more you develop, the more that you see images, I suppose, as you walk around, and at least I'm hoping that's going to be the case today. So let's go and see if we can find an image. Well, I think I may have found the first composition. Kind of come a little bit off the path, but I can just see this tree that's got some really interesting shapes of branches coming off of it, and the background has got some lovely greens and yellows and browns still in the background there. So I'm thinking a portrait orientation shot. So what I'm trying to do is line up the tree with the trees behind it, so it hides the trees behind. It looks like the best angle that I can find from this viewpoint. So we'll get the camera on. I'm actually using the 200mm, 70-200, and it'll probably be at the 200mm end. Now, I don't know if you can see this, but it was just these branches coming off this centre trunk that I quite liked. Nice shape to it. I've used ISO 100 f4 for 1/50th of a second, and as you can see, this tree is nice and sharp, and the background there is just falling off, going a bit soft, which I don't mind at all. I like the yellow colours in the background. a little bit of the bracken in the foreground there. And like I say, there are a couple of other trees behind it. You can just about see the trunk of this one, but that's about as much as I can and hide without revealing something on the other side. So it was a little bit of a compromise. But yeah, that's the first image. Now that's without a polarizer. I might just try one with a polarizer. Okay, so I've actually popped on the polarizer for this one. I've kept it f4 ISO 100, but it's reduced the shutter speed to 1/20th of a second. Now I don't know if you can see this on here, but as I spin the polarizer, you'll see a lot of the glare in this bottom right hand corner from the bushes there kind of disappear. It darkens it up, saturates the colours that little bit more, which is what I'm looking for, just to try and saturate the colours a little bit more in the background. So I'll take this shot now, ISO 100 f4 for 1/20th of a second, and I'll put that up on the screen for you now.
Keeping me together. Thoughts of us forever. And then ways us down.
You got me? Yeah. Good old camera tracking. Right, I've been following this footpath again. Just come around in a little bit of a loop from where I was, and I'm heading back kind of in the direction I came from, just on the opposite side. I've got the 70 to 200mm on still from the last image, and I've actually seen this tree that's got quite a nice shape to it. Now, above the tree there's quite a bit of sky showing, and there's not a lot of interest in the bottom of the tree. It's just the shape of the tree itself and the colours in the background. So what I'm thinking of doing is, I've got the, like I say, the 70 to 200. I'm probably looking at around 200mm, and I'm going to use the 1:1 square crop. Now I'm still going to shoot this in portrait orientation, only because when you get back in post, if I change my mind, I've got the portrait shot of the tree itself. And I may be able to do something with that later, whereas if I shoot landscape, I'm just going to have a lot of space either side of that tree, which really, looking, just won't make a nice image. At least I've got the option of going portrait if I change my mind later on. So for this shot, I'm actually framing up at 200mm, and it's just about the curve in the tree. The tree trunk comes from the bottom centre of image, comes up through the centre of the image, and then curves over to the top left-hand corner, and kind of goes out of frame that way. But then you've got some nice dark branches on the right-hand side of that, and then the colours in the background. So I'm going to set this up on the tripod and take that shot. Oh, this next image, I was just walking along and come across a puddle on the footpath, and in that puddle was a group of leaves, and one of them is just a lot lighter than all the others, and it stood out to me again. So I stopped and framed it up handheld and thought maybe I could make something of it. So I have set the tripod up. I've still got a 70 to 200. I am at 200mm. I went for f8 with the circular polarizer. Now, because you're shooting straight down onto the puddle, I don't think the polarization is actually having a lot of effect on the glare of the water, but I'm hoping it might saturate some of the colours a little bit more. But it was ISO 100 f8 for a shutter speed of 1/15th of a second. Probably end up going for a square crop, and I'll pop that up on the screen for you now. For this next shot, just on the footpath, and I'm not sure if this vlogging camera is going to pick it up. The focal length is completely different. I'm shooting at 200mm on the 70-200, and there's just this nice arch of trees over the footpath, and right at the centre of that arch is just a single silver birch, and it just stands out like a sore thumb. And there's some nice greens and yellows and burnt browns behind it. So I put the 70-200 on. At the 200mm, I've selected an aperture of 5.6 because I want to let the background fall off and just concentrate on that trunk of that silver birch. So yeah, f5.6, ISO 100 gave me a shutter speed with the polarizer for 1/20th of a second. And the polarizer was actually just taking some of the glare off the wet leaves of the footpath here, because obviously we've had a lot of rain over the last few days, and this woodland is just turning into a swamp in places. It's really muddy, really slippery, and yeah, the polarizer comes into its own to take off some of the glare of the leaves and reflections from water, things like that. So it's well worth, if you haven't invested in a circular polarizer. Christmas is coming. But here's the shot. Well, I think I found another composition. Again, I've gone for a square crop. Seems to be the theme of the day, really. 200mm again. Just on, if I can see, there's a silver birch here, I think it is, just on the edge of the footpath, and to the left hand side of that silver birch is just some lovely yellow colours still, and some other silver birches in the background. So what I've done is I've focused on the silver birch in the foreground, zoomed into 200mm with a circular polarizer again, and just letting these trees in the background fall out of focus. So I'm at ISO 100. I shot this at f4 for 1/25th of a second. And I'll put that up on the screen for you now. Well, this area of the woodlands is proving a lot more fruitful than the first section that I visited. I actually was walking along the footpath and looked back from where I've come, which is always a good tip wherever you're walking, especially woodland. Just turn around and have a look at the scene in the opposite direction. Sometimes you can find a really nice scene that didn't look anything on your way through, but look back at it in the opposite direction and it's a nice scene. But I've got these various silver birches here, and just this nice bright yellows and burnt oranges in the background. So I've set this one up. I'm probably going to go for a 16:9 crop is what I framed it up as in camera, but until I get back home on the computer I reserve judgment. But at the moment it looks quite nice as a 16:9 crop. This is again 70-200, which is proving to be a very useful lens this morning. I'm at 200mm again, ISO 100 with the circular polarizer. I chose an aperture of f5.6, gave me a shutter speed of 1/13th of a second. I'll put that one up on the screen for you now. well, that's it. As you can see, we are now back at the car. We've been gone over 4 hours and still the only car in the car park. Like I said to you earlier, there is no pay and display machine or anything like that, other than this sign from Euro Car Parks welcoming you to East Blean, and to instruct you of a tariff of £2 all day, and yet nowhere to pay. It does say that customers that are unable to make payment on the app can make payment at www.ringo.co.uk up to £23.59 on the day of the visit. So yeah, it's that day and age where everyone's just expected to have access to the internet and means to pay over the internet. But there you go, I must be getting old, all this whinging. But yeah, anyway, thanks very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. Images, yeah, they seemed okay. There's one or two that I'm quite keen to get back and see how they come out. But very, very difficult woodland. Still find it difficult like everybody else, but yeah, I do enjoy it. And especially when you get a nice image that turns out nice on the computer. Yeah, it's a really nice genre of photography to get into. But yeah, like I said, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed it. If you did, give us a thumbs up, give us a like. If you're not already, consider subscribing. And until next time, take care and see you soon. Cheers then.